We're gonna have some fun today because we're gonna do our early Crown Jewel predictions. Now, we got a little indication coming out of Monday Night Raw of what they could be doing at the big Jewel event. It's only a couple of weeks away, just it never ends, does it? The first match we know is confirmed, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Nope, that's a different thing. The Crown Jewel Championship ring and bragging rights, essentially. How come they couldn't just do that? Let's just bring back bragging rights. That seems like a much better idea here. We have Seth and Cody on Raw doing their whole promo shtick spiel, talking about their history. Cody's got 3 wins over Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has Dog Barker and Tsunami Man. He's no longer Shula Fala. I know he lost the shoes, but I enjoyed that for a few weeks. I actually like the promo they did on Raw. I thought that it was better than the previous Crown Jewel events, you know, Gunther and Cody, and that build was essentially just, I'm better than you. This I like because you do have a lot of history of Seth and Cody. Before Seth got the world title, kind of thought that Seth versus Cody at WrestleMania could have been the giant matchup. The interesting piece will be the finish. Cody's got 3 wins against Seth. Seth's got the vision. And right now, they have really been trying hard to position that world title as something bigger. Now, there's a couple of things you could do with a finish here. I think Seth wins. I think you need him to win just to have, again, it's just for the ring. It's just bragging. So I think though that Seth needs to get that advantage over Cody. Cody doesn't need it. Cody can go back to SmackDown the next week and just move on and he don't care. But I don't think it's a clean finish. Sure, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker could get involved. I think that they do what was rumored to have happened at WrestlePalooza. The backstage rumblings and word was that one of the finishes that was pitched for the Cody Drew match was Randy Orton comes down at the end, gets involved, and Drew McIntyre ends up winning the WWE Championship because Randy screwed up. And that obviously would continue the Drew Cody feud and eventually get to Randy versus Cody with the heel Randy Orton. I think that would have been a much better idea, frankly, than what we got. But I think that maybe they could do a similar finish and the title's not on the line. So it kind of protects Cody in that way. So what I mean is, you could have Drew McIntyre come down, because I don't think Drew's done. It should be because he just lost clean to Cody Rhodes, but we know how these things go sometimes. He's gonna creep back up and want to extend the feud again. I think Drew could cost Cody the ring and the win, giving Seth Rollins the victory, but maybe Randy Orton does come down. You're in Australia, you want the big Randy Orton pop there for the live crowd too. It's all about popping those giant stadiums. So they could try to mimic that finish. Randy gets involved to help out Cody against the Vision, even the odds a little bit, and then Drew comes out, Seth ultimately wins, costs Cody the ring, and that furthers the Drew McIntyre Cody story that they could do at, say, Survivor Series for a one-on-one match or a triple threat with Randy Orton. But even if that doesn't happen, somehow, some way, I'm gonna say Seth Rollins wins that ring. All right, next up, Stephanie Vaquer, your brand new Women's World Heavyweight Champion. She just had the promo on Raw doing her big celebration, gave her all the pyro, all the good stuff. Her match against Io at the Palooza was probably best match on the card, in my opinion. There is going to be a women's match for the women's ring at Crown Jewel. Stephanie versus whoever the winner is of the triple threat happening on SmackDown. So I'm recording this before SmackDown happens. That's going to be Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, and Jade Cargill. Now, what I want you to keep in mind though is the poster for Crown Jewel, the main one. It has a lot of people on there, including Jade, including Tiffany, and others that we're going to talk about. I think Tiffany retains. Would I like to see Nia or Jade get the title? Yeah, a nice big shakeup, and SmackDown is not adverse to doing that, to, you know, pull the trigger on something where there's a tag team title change, for example. As they get closer to the main PLE, they need to, though, build the match between Stephanie and whoever the WWE Women's Champion is. So you need, like, Stephanie going to SmackDown to tease it, and vice versa, the other person coming to Raw. I think that it will be Tiffany. I think Tiffany retains because, once again, you're just battling for the ring. And if you give the title to Nia or Jade, which would be cool, and you have a big baddie of like Nia Jax, for example, going up against the supreme babyface Stephanie Vaquer, the problem I see if you do that, if you have a brand new women's champion, you are going to diminish them right away. If you have Jade or Nia win, they go against Stephanie, no matter who the champion is, I'm saying Stephanie's winning that thing. She's got way too much momentum and they are pushing her to the moon right now. Stephanie wins her match at Crown Jewel. I think it goes against Tiffany Stratton, who can afford a loss or a wonky finish. You don't want every match to be a wonk finish, but she could beat Tiffany Stratton and Tiffany would be okay. If she went up against Nia or Jade, I think you run into an issue where they lose all credibility. Nia Jax picks up the women's championship, dominating in a triple threat, and then goes against Stephanie and loses. It does not look good for her. Likewise, Jade is a babyface, and she would have a giant crowning moment winning that championship, and Jade's always positioned as super powerful and pretty dominant, right? You can't have her, I don't think, going up against Stephanie, and I don't think the styles would really work. They might clash, so to speak. Stephanie Vaquero wins. I think she goes against Tiffany Stratton. But I do know that on that poster, Jade Cargill is also showcase. Now that could just be because it's early advertising. It doesn't necessarily indicate anything, but it's possible that there's a wonky schmozzy finish to the triple threat on SmackDown where maybe Jade and Tiffany, maybe they get a double pin on Nia Jax, and maybe that's what they do. Ooh, that's kind of interesting as I just think about that. They both end up pinning Nia because she's like unstoppable. So then the referee, maybe he does double count, or he sees that mostly Tiffany is the one getting the pin and Jade is gonna fight for it, and Nick Aldis says, all right, you're added to this, and maybe then it's a triple threat. You never know. I know it's supposed to be champion versus champion, but it's a way to add Jade in there to really mix it up, and then Tiffany and Jade can cancel each other out. I don't know. You decide. You let me know in the comments what you think. Next match that I think is kind of a given right now, especially after Raw, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky teaming together to go up against the Kabuki Warriors. Now, I will say this. Wasn't it quite refreshing that on Monday Night Raw, we ended Raw with a women's match that was very good, and it wasn't the Vision and Seth. WWE listened to somebody, probably not me. Rhea Ripley wrestled on television, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a minute. And she had a great match with Asuka, and I love the finish to it. It was a great piece of storytelling. You had the miss. Rhea just ate that miss like all over her. And I love Kairi Sane in all of this too, because she's so torn. And the whole episode of Raw, she was not really wanting to do anything bad to anybody. And Asuka's got her under her thumb and forcing Kairi to do all this stuff. So I love this. And then Io is caught in the middle too. Like, it's such a good dynamic between everyone. Now, you are going to be in Australia. Rhea Ripley, big pop in Australia, obviously. So here is where I think you do get Rhea and Io getting the victory against the Kabuki Warriors. I would say though, Kairi Sane eats the pin. I think Rhea will do a top rope riptide to Kairi Sane and just decimate her, kind of begrudgingly, like she doesn't want to do it, and that protects Asuka because we are eventually going to get that one-on-one match again between Io and Asuka, and then you can also loop in Rhea Ripley and everything, but Rhea and Io are gonna stand tall in that. Next match, not announced, but predicting, because you had Seth and Becky backstage on Raw. I like that they actually had the Vision with Paul Heyman and Becky Lynch all walking to the arena together. I'm like, hey, Becky's actually a part of this thing, except for like she wasn't during the other segments. But backstage, Seth and Becky are talking a lot, and Becky seems to have a little bit of a plan here. She's still upset about AJ Lee. I think at Crown Jewel you do get AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch one-on-one. Could be for the Intercontinental Championship, but I think Becky's gonna go out of her way to try and just get AJ Lee one-on-one in this thing. I actually don't think, like CM Punk is a question mark. I don't think Punk's gonna be on the show. I think Punk takes a little hiatus, a little break. I think it's actually good and healthy because I don't need him on TV right now. But Becky versus AJ at Crown makes a lot of sense, and for me, I think it leads, I've said this like for months, I think it leads to a mixed gender War Games match. The Vision versus Team Punk. And AJ Lee is in there and Becky's on that team. So to get there, I think you got Becky and AJ at Crown Jewel. You get a weird finish there. Maybe Becky actually beats AJ because I think it'd be okay, and Becky does one of her big roll-up victories. Becky retains the IC title, so she's got the victory over AJ, which can then maybe lead to Survivor Series. Now, I got 2 more matches on here, and guys, by the way, if you guys enjoy the channel and do all the stuff that we do here to cover all WWE, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, because it does help us grow as you watch this thing. Thank you very much for supporting us. The next match, potentially, I don't know if it will happen, but the man is on the poster, Roman Reigns. Roman's on the poster. Does he show up? Does Roman have a match, or does he have a moment? A little run-in, shall we say? If he's advertised for this thing, like you put him on the marketing, so I gotta think Roman's gonna be there, yes? If Roman's gonna be there, well, he's tied up with the Vision, Jay and Jimmy, and And Jay is going through a lot right now with LA Knight and his brother, and kind of turned bad and turned his back on everybody. It also stems from Jay talking to Roman previously, their relationship, and Roman Reigns kind of pushing Jay to be like, you gotta do things on your own. So next week on Raw, we're going to have a rematch, another tag team match. Braun and Bronson going up against the Usos. They're doing the rematch again. Now, the ending to the WrestlePalooza match really fell flat, but it seems to be because Jay concussed himself, got a bloody mess, and they had to just quickly wrap up the match. Makes total sense. Let's have another one, make it no disqualification, and it'll be a lot of fun. But if it's no DQ on Raw, this gives them enough time that if Braun and Bronson, look, it's a vision match. It's gonna end in tsunamis and spears left and right, and Jimmy and Jay left a big mess, even if they do win. I think the Usos win on Raw, and then they just turn into a big brawl where the Vision is gonna dominate. That cues Roman Reigns to come back. If Roman comes back next week on Raw, he can even the odds, help out Jimmy and Jay, reunite the whole bloodline there, or most of the bloodline, and then you can have Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. We already had Bronson Reed one-on-one, and that ended with Roman winning, but then getting taken out by the Vision. We haven't seen Roman since. Every time Roman comes back, he just gets annihilated after. They need to have this Braun Breaker match. I think this is what you end up doing now, is you get Braun versus Roman, which is a huge marquee match. Like, that could be Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. They built Braun even more. That could be WrestleMania. This is a great way to get Braun Breaker in a one-on-one match. He's been in a lot of tag stuff lately. Roman versus Braun, and then you can have Bronson ringside. The Usos can come out of Crown Jewel, and you start maybe planting seeds for War Games. I'm just saying this because I think Roman's on the poster, so I kind of think like he's gonna show up. Now the other match. Big fellow in the middle. I can see him. Mr. John Cena. What do you do with John at Crown Jewel? Hey, Matt from the future. Okay, so I had Drew McIntyre and I also had AJ Styles as my predictions when I recorded this. And then that night, Triple H confirmed that we are going to be getting John Cena, AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. So just go over the little recap here for you. John Cena says, I do not choose my opponents, but I, even through tough times, always listen to the fans. AJ Styles, are you listening? Better yet, Triple H, are you listening? Cena and Styles. Thoughts? AJ Styles replied, I hear them loud and clear. Let's do it. I'm ready. Triple H immediately right after did tweet out that AJ Styles, John Cena is a match that we all want to see, and at Crown Jewel, we will. So we are going to get that. There was another statement that was written here by John Cena when he thanked Triple H for making things flexible for the schedule. He says, quote, I want to thank Triple H for being flexible here and rewarding the true driving force behind Cena versus Styles. The fans, 2 posts, over 10 million views, and so many of you, let yourself be heard. Crown Jewel and AJ Styles, you will get everything. Listening to our audience is always what's best for business. I am forever grateful to you all for choosing my next opponent. Let's effing go. I love that John Cena hears the audience. I love that Triple H said yes. It makes me curious what the plan was for John Cena in Australia, because it wasn't this. It was gonna be something else. Would it have been Brock, or would they have done something entirely different for Cena? A thank you Cena segment, somebody comes out, an open challenge. What would they have done? There's no build, but now at least with this, and Cena's not on TV for 3 weeks, at least AJ Styles can push it. I would love it if Cena would just do some kind of satellite interview thing with Styles. Do something, a pre-filmed thing interview for Cena. Take 10 minutes and just get it done, because then at least you have something to work with. This is the match that everybody wants to see before Cena was done. I'm glad they're doing it. All right, on with the video. Thanks, guys. Cue up AJ Styles and give the fans what they really want, which is just a banger of a match. Give them 12 to 15 minutes of AJ and Cena, and give that payoff to everybody, because they've teased it, they've talked about it. Do it on Australia, and the crowd will go bananas. And I think also something like AJ versus Cena in Perth, I think it helps rectify or give people a little bit of a lift after what happened with Brock and Cena at WrestlePalooza. People were not satisfied with that match, and I think you want to get fans kind of back on Cena's side, the momentum again. Give him like a good solid wrestling match that fans want to see. Now there's tag titles out there, they could add that, Charlotte and Bliss, but I don't see anybody else really making the card. Bailey is out there with Lyra, but I think that those feuds are still building. Drop your predictions below, and guys, click this video right here if you want to have some fun, just having a little bit of fun about WrestlePalooza. Have a great day. See ya.